When you think of medicine, what's the symbol you think of? If you had to create a symbol for the medical field, what would you make? Maybe you'd do a red cross, or a heart, or a heartbeat, or a mortar and pestle, or a pill. Those are some common traditional images. But let's get creative. What else would you imagine? Maybe sunshine, or a budding leaf. Maybe an owl because it's wise, or a purring cat because it's comforting. There's a lot of things you could pick. But with so many possibilities out there, would you pick a snake? If there wasn't a symbol already, and you had never seen this one, would you on your own choose a snake to represent healing and health? And why is it on a stick? It's such an odd choice. Where did it come from? First, there's not just one image of the snake on a stick. There's two. The less common one is the Caduceus. It comes from Greek mythology. It has two snakes on it, twirling around a staff with wings. This has been the symbol of trade and commerce, or of rhetoric, sometimes medicine. It represents the Greek god Hermes, who was given the staff by Apollo. Why the snakes? We're not completely sure. It might have come from even older origins. The second symbol, more commonly used for medicine, is called the rod of Asclepius. That one has one snake twirling up a rod. This was the symbol of the Greek god Asclepius, who was associated with medicine. At the temple of Asclepius, there would be snakes, which would be used in healing rituals. The shedding of the snake's skin was a symbol of renewal, and being sometimes venomous, the snake encapsulated both life and death. Why is it going up a rod? Well, that's a little less clear. Our explanations are guesses. Snake cults, the worship of snakes, the association of snakes with gods, all of this got an older history. There is this mysteriousness with snakes, an instinctive fear, almost a reverence. Ancient people would naturally have had a lot of stories about snakes, and we see a lot of serpent objects from Bronze Age Canaan. And we see it in the Bible too. In Numbers 2, there's this story of the Israelites at the end of their wandering in the wilderness getting grumpy with God. They're often grumpy, and like a parent who is getting sick and tired of hearing, "Are we there yet?" God pulls over to give the ancient equivalent of a spanking. Snakes. Poisonous snakes attack the Israelites, and the only way to be saved is to look up on a bronze serpent that Moses erects on a pole. They have to look directly at the reason that they are in pain. More on that in the sermon. And once they see it, they are healed. So here we have a biblical story that is just as old as the Greek stories. Did they happen independently? Did the biblical story influence the Greek one? We don't know. Our modern medical use of the rod of Asclepius is from the Greek stories, but with full awareness of the biblical story. This is one symbol where those ancient worlds overlap with each other and with us. A lot of you are in the hospital a lot. And in some way, dealing with a medical system, you're more likely than others to be bumping into this symbol. The next time you do, think of this Bible story. We should use every chance we get to be turning our thoughts towards God. So here's another. God will remind you of God in the oddest places and through the oddest things, including snakes on sticks. So let it be a reminder to you that when you're feeling grumpy, feeling like this journey of life has been a slog, that you hate being in the hospital, and, to quote today's passage, you detest this miserable food. Think about God spanking the Israelites with snakes. A reminder that it could be a lot worse. You're not in the promised land yet. It is understandably frustrating to exist in this in-between space of a hospital. But for the time being, God is providing. God is guiding. God will help. And if you complain, God will give you something to complain about. Let the snake remind you that your healing is in God's hands. Your journey is in God's hands. You are in God's hands. Amen.